Hello to everybody. This is Daniel Hughes from DEXCell, the product director. And today we're starting our webinar series based on product, right? So today I am very proud to show to our partners that are connected all over the world a new feature regarding the hierarchy, and that's the sublocations, right? Which is a new way to save time, taking into account every single detail. Okay. So let's move forward, and I'm alone today, so I couldn't reach any of my colleagues here at DEXCell, but anyway, I will perform the introduction. Then I will talk regarding the sublocations features myself, and then finally we will end up with the demonstration and the questions and answers, right? So it's very important that in case you have some questions, just type it using the GoToWebinar user interface, right? Okay, so let's move forward. Let's start with the sublocations, right? So what we have so far? What we have so far regarding the hierarchy and the capabilities into the software to organize a project, it's this screen here, right? Which is the list of the locations that have been created so far in your project, in your account. And that list is basically a list of elements that you can search here. It's a list sorted alphabetically, which is fine. And then you have some information regarding the inventory, right? So if that particular location has set up the HVAC device or the main water, the main gas, or whatever we have inside, right? That's cool. But then we also have that part here, which is the hierarchy map, right? So the hierarchy tree of your project that DEXCell allows you to configure. So in case that you have a hierarchical project, then you can set up which are the zones, and below that zones, what many locations do you have them. That's fine, but we are facing very often projects that level, it's not enough, okay? So we had to improve our product in order to allow to our partners and our end users to configure better their hierarchy and adapt the software hierarchy to the real customer hierarchy, right? And that's what we did with the sublocations. So the problems with the current solutions, with the current solutions that we have so far, is that in multi-site accounts or in accounts with more than 10 devices per site, the sites needs to be organized in some logical way to analyze that data properly. That's cool, and that's something that we can do right now. But then, for instance, something that we can't do, and it's a problem, it's that some device needs to be shared between locations, like, for example, the meteo, right? So the weather station, virtual weather station, many times needs to be shared between among of many locations, but it's not possible, and the user or you have to configure for every single location which meteo station do you want to use. Then we have that problem as well, that location level is not deep enough, right? So in many projects, for instance, in projects that you have one single location, an industry, for instance, that you want to divide your industry by lines or by sections of production, then DEXCell was not capable to do that, right? Then the data aggregation failed in the cases that you were doing double counting, right? So in case that you had a meter installed into a zone or into a region, then when you were into the dashboard zone and you were aggregating all the information, then DEXCell ended up with a double counting that was kind of a pain for the end user, right? That finally they cannot use the dashboard proper. Then that's really a pain in the ass. So the supplies have to be assigned one by one. So you can't assign one for one zone and just save a lot of time during the configuration. So you have to go one by one. And then something that as well was a pain in many projects is that the location section, so the location tabs, was not something that we can expand, right? So Now we will see with this new feature, with these new improvements that we have been doing during the last couple of months, how do we solve all of that pain. Okay. In case that you have any question, please use the user interface of the GoToWebinar, and afterwards we will go on that way. So, say welcome to Sublocations, right? So they are very welcome to our platform. What we have so far is just the global level of the project. Then we have zones that you can create, right? So the zone for Europe, the zone for America, the zone for, I don't know, for France, for Italy, whatever, subzones, right? And then below that zone, what you could do, it's the location level. But that's the only thing that DEXCell was allowing you to do, right? So in case that you were having to expand this, what we provide you, it's a new capability that you can divide your location using sublocations. Okay, and that means that we don't only allow you to do it in one level, but in any levels that you need, that you need, right? So you could be creating as many sublocations as you need in order to fill correctly with the customer hierarchy, or to provide you enough valuable information in your project. Okay, so for instance, in case that you have a hospital and you have 3 or 4 hospitals in your project, then a hospital would be a single location. But then that hospital can be subdivided by using all the locations needed, by floors, by sections, by activity areas, wherever you need. Okay? Then adding to this capability to create new elements into the hierarchy, we also develop the heritage concept. And that's so cool, because that means that every single element that you associate or assign to a parent will be automatically allowed to be used by their child. For instance, in case that you have a weather meteo station assigned to one zone, to the zone 1, automatically all the elements that goes belong that, so the location 1 would have that meteo station. That means that the devices will be only allowed to be associated to one element only, right? In case that you have to share with all the different elements, you can assign the devices into the global element of the project. Okay, that's so cool when talking for supplies, right? So for instance, in case that you have many locations, but you don't really care about going to the cent of euro or to the cent of dollar in every single bill, what you can do is to create a general supply using an average price per kilowatt hour associated into a region or a zone of the project, and then all the childs will get that information from, and you have been saving a lot of time. But in case that you want one particular element to use another different supplies, then you can do that, right? So basically the supplies, so the elements will be using the general supply, but in case that they have assigned one particular, then they will use that one. And now applications, so the DEXCell Energy Manager applications can be installed as location tabs, right? So in any case that you have a project that they are requesting to add information into the location section, until now was not possible, but now you can develop an application, or we can help you to develop these applications that will appear as location tabs into the DEXCell Energy Manager platform. Okay, so again, welcome to Sublocations. And that's the hierarchy table, right? That table will be available into our support web page, right? So in case that you have some doubts regarding what can be done or what can't be done with our current platform, just refer to that table, and the table has all the answers, right? So we separate for 4 different types of hierarchy elements. So we have the global, the zone, the location, and the sublocation, which is brand new from today. And I splitted that into different groups, right? So the information, the devices, the groups, reference meters, assigned supplies capabilities, or the ratios one, okay? So for instance, for a location and a sublocation, basically it's the same kind of element. So you can perform exactly the same actions using a location or a sublocation. But we added some enriched capabilities to the zones and to the global in order to allow people to use the heritage concept and the supplies assignments, right? So from next week on beyond, the global and the zone would have information data available to be set up there, would have devices there, right? So you can assign devices to that element. They won't have groups capabilities or reference meter capabilities, but they will have the assigned supplies capabilities as well, and the ratios won't be available for zones and global, right? These restrictions here, we have end up asking to our partners, right? So many of you had received a request from me, like in August, more or less, where we started to talk about what we should add or what we should miss into that new feature. At any point, if you have new requests, don't forget just to contact me, right? So you can send me an email at dutjes@dexmatech.com, and I'm so glad to receive your new requests, okay? So let's move from the PowerPoint to the real demonstration, right? Let me go to the pre-production environment, right? So later on, we will talk about when that feature will be available. So right now, I'm connecting to a testing environment, right? In order to show you this new feature. So I will be using one of our demonstration accounts that you know, which is the corporate buildings. And basically, the changes are into the settings area, location menu option, okay? So far here, we had that list of locations, that it's not there anymore. And we substitute that list for an indented list of elements. So as you can see, we have that corporate building project, right, that has some sections. One of those is Europe, the other one is USA, the other one is Canada, right? And those, every single element has an icon here showing to the user or showing to you which element I am facing here, right? So in that case, if I expand to Europe, then I see many locations. And if I expand USA, I would see the locations going to the USA. And if I do exactly the same in Canada, I see all the locations in Canada. And the locations have that icon here, like the pointer icon. If I would like to create a new element, I just need to click on the kind of element that I want to create, right? So right now we had only the location option, but now we have three options: the zones, the locations, and the sublocation. So imagine that I would like to create the sublocation into the London building, which is the first floor, right? So I just have to click on new sublocation. I would put here first, well, let me do that in numbers, first floor. The parent location is not that one, it's the London building, right? So right now I can start doing my hierarchy as soon as I'm creating the project, not after all the project, right? I can set up which is the kind of sublocation that I'm configuring here. And this information will be used in the future by the reports, right? So for instance, for tenant billing, it's very common to have this as a tenant, right? And then a report will get that information and generate the tenant bills, right? The area for that tenant, it's, I don't know, 250 square meters. We can put that here, tenant one. Summer reference temperature is always the same. It's for using the heating degree days and cooling degree days. And I could even upload an image here, okay? That's not the case, so I click on continue. And here is where I should assign the different devices that I have so far. They are not appearing any of the devices because all of them are all already assigned into my location, into the overall project. And right now, as I have to remember you, every single device can only be assigned to one single point of the hierarchy. So we cannot share anymore, right? So that's why I don't have any devices here to assign to that one. So I should deassign one of the devices into one of the buildings and assign that here, okay? Or I can just let it that empty. And the first floor, it's created here, right? And as you can see, we have a third indented element, which is the sublocation. And I could be creating as many as I need from that point in time, okay? And if I click here, then that's the same that we have with the locations element, right? So I have the capability to assign the devices, to create groups, to assign reference meters, to assign supplies and prices, and to assign ratios to that one, okay? And the same for the regions or the zones, okay? So right now the zone has a name, has a parent region, has some devices that can be assigned, and you can assign supplies and prices to a zone as well, okay? So basically, right now you will find this new screen here, which is an indented list. If you see this, when you click here, we have tracked that normally the people were using that screen to filter and to go to one single location. So to save your time and to save you clicks, what we did is that once you click here into the location menu, then this section here is automatically activated, right? So you can quickly go and search for London, and you can use the keyboard arrows and the intro key to go directly to your location, right? So we are helping you to save time. So once again, if I want to go to Luxembourg, I just click here and then I just go directly, okay? And that filters all the elements that we have into the list. Doesn't mind if they are the global, the regions or zones, sorry, the locations or the sublocations here, okay? So that's what about regarding first screen. But then, as we had into the previous version, into the version that is currently in production, we have as well a hierarchy map view, okay? But we slightly changed that. So now it's in that format, okay? So it's a very, very soft format to represent the hierarchy map. You can collapse all the different elements that you don't want to use, right? Or you can just use the drag and drop as well, right? As I did here by mistake. No, that one should go to Europe, right? So you can use the drag and drop function directly on that one, and we improve the way that map was rendering. So it's very, very soft, and you can use it in all the different devices, okay? So basically, you have a map here that you can collapse, right? So that's the overall project. I will open the first level, corporate. Then it goes to the second level. In green, you have the zones. Then in orange, you have the locations. And then in blue, you have the sublocations. Imagine that right now, that floor tenant 1 should go to Luxembourg, right? So, or to the other one. So you just drag and drop here, and it goes. And then you just save, and your hierarchy is saved very, very quick. Okay? So this is another improvement that we did with that version. Okay? And then we are working into that screen that is basically the screen to be used for the inventory. Okay? So what we would like to do, it's not right now, but we have prepared that third screen that will be the inventory screen to allow you to understand which are the parts of the project that are completely set up or not. So for instance, when I am doing projects in DEXCell, and those are big projects, 20, 30, 100 locations, then I start doing the setup, like setting up all the different surfaces and all the different reference devices. But at one point in time, I got interrupted by somebody, and then I have to go back and to continue, right? But in many cases, I don't remember exactly where I stopped. So it's a pain in the ass when I have to go location by location and then check every time if I did that setup or not, or I missed some configuration there. So in that screen, what we will do is to allow a questionnaire, right? So you can ask to DEXCell, report me which locations I have with missing information regarding the surface, or where I missed to configure the heating degrees ratio, for instance, or the occupancy ratio, right? And DEXCell will just return you which elements match with the search, okay? But this is ongoing there. So basically, that will be all the different things that we're preparing for you, and that's basically the indented list with the different ways to generate the elements, right? And you can move here the elements, you can delete the elements here, and then the hierarchy map that you can as well drag and drop and save your hierarchy here, and have a look of your overall project, collapsing the different branches or not, or whatever you need. Doing zoom in, zoom out, etc., etc. And that will be in our software in production the next Monday, right? So on November 30th, we will have this new feature in production. Okay, so it's cool that if you have been attending today, then on Monday next week, you will be connecting to DEXCell. You will see that there are some changes, but you will already know how do they work and why we did that. Okay, so now I think that it's time for questions and answers. I will shut up myself for half a minute or something. Okay, and I'm waiting for your questions. Okay, thank you. Okay, so here we have the first question. We have a partner from South Africa that is asking me, hi Danny, does this apply to all the accounts at all levels? I think that you are referring to which licenses will be that feature available, right? So basically it's going under the professional license, okay? Because that's the license that you can have multiple locations and multiple elements. So it makes sense that we allow you to create sublocations in that kind of DEXCell software license. Okay, so basically goes under the professional license. That's cool. And we have another one from a partner connecting from that's South America. When will this be available? How much does it cost? Well, I have two good news here for you. First one is that it would be available next week, so you don't have to wait that much for that. And then the second one is that we will be doing that improvement at no cost for you, right? So that means that we will enhance the software, and you will keep paying the same amount of euros that you are paying so far for your license, okay? Then we have another one. Do I have to do anything with my current projects? What do you recommend? Well, that's the magic of the SaaS product, right? So you don't have to click in any upgrade and any other thing. So we will upgrade the license version for you. You will just connect on Monday next week, and you will go to the settings area, and you will see that the location screen have changed. But we will do all the backward compatibility for you and all the internal migration processes that we have to perform. That goes under ourselves. And then what do I recommend? Well, basically, I recommend that in case that you were using the locations, but the location hierarchy, it's not enough for your project, then explode or use the sublocations feature for your customer. Okay, so use that feature, try to use it, and then just contact me in case that you don't understand a couple of things or you're missing something there. Okay. So, well, it's half an hour so far, the webinar products. You know that in the webinar products, we don't try to sell you anything else. We just provide you good news. And I think that if we don't have any other questions, we can end up the webinar here. Okay? Yeah, so it seems that we don't have anything else. It's been a pleasure to talk with you, partners of DEXMA. Remember just that I have personal email that I'm so glad to receive your comments there, right? And just write me in case that you don't understand anything or you would like to have into software any other awesome things that we're not even thinking on that, okay? So see you into the next product webinar. Have a nice day and use the new feature. See you. Bye-bye.